Hey, what's up guys? My name is Joel, and in this video I'm going to be talking about not self. The stripped back bare nature of it is about us not having a self. So when we use the words my or me or attribute our body to being us, it's questioning whether that is actually true and whether any of that stuff is actually real, and figuring out what we truly are and what we have power and control over. I'm sure you remember the incredible / crazy interview with Jim Carey last year when he was at that fashion event.
I've covered a lot of fashion weeks. This is the first time I've run into Jim Carey. Wait, tell me, is it true you're wandering the streets? You need a date to the party? What's up?
No. I'm doing just fine.
If you were watching it, I mean, in that interview it was quite abrasive, and people tend to remember it, or the news tended to pick up on it because of the way he was.
I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air.
And not what he was talking about. But what he was talking about can be closest linked to popular Buddhism or even psychological science as well.
No, I
Was that
didn't
an
get dressed
accident?
up. I didn't get dressed up.
Who did?
There is no me.
There's no you.
No.
We're not here. This is a dream?
There's just things happening.
That is partly to do with not self and alleviating suffering through identifying that there is no self. Now this is deep stuff, but if we can get there, we can achieve enlightenment, happiness, contentment, nirvana, whatever you want. I'll try and explain it a little bit. Now there is no me, there is no you. Your body is not your body, it is a body. Now I know people can start saying this and you might start to think, oh, here we go again. Like, off for the fairies. Hold on. Out there, don't want to hear it. But it's worth listening to. Because if you can grasp it, it can help take the burden that many of these things bring that we think are ourselves. They bring needless suffering that we don't have to take quite as head on as we do already. Now we're completely attached to ourselves, right? We've taken complete ownership of everything that happens in and out of here. But with that ownership becomes complete responsibility. We want to be the king. We want to be the CEO of our body, of our mind, and we think we are. Now when something happens, we think it's happening to us, as opposed to it happening to our body and our body just trying to tell us. Therefore we have a heightened response to it, whether that's with pain or anxiety. We are truly in these feelings because we think they are us. And from popular Buddhist beliefs, we are made up of 5 things. As a person, we are 5 things, which are known as the 5 aggregates. Now the 5 aggregates are known as material form, so our bodies, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. Now the argument is that we are none of these 5 things, and therefore none of these 5 things are us. If you look at these 5 things, these 5 aggregates, how many of them do you have dominion over? Do you have complete control over? None of them truly. I mean, the closest one is consciousness. But it's argued that even consciousness is so heavily dominated by the other 4 aggregates, it's not true consciousness. Because our brain, our mind is split up into lots of different modules. And these modules are all fighting for power, and they all come into power at different times of our life, depending on the situation, depending on the environment around us and what's happening around us. And when these modules come in, our personality changes and we are completely dictated by what module is in power at a certain time. subconsciously, I suppose, we romanticize over the fact that we have complete control over everything we do, and we are, say, the executive or the CEO of our own mind and bodies. But the reality is we share control with all of these other factors, and we have far less power and far less control than we'd like to believe. And it might seem like something that you wouldn't really want to let go of, that thought that you are in complete control. Hanging on to the thought that you are in complete control will bring unneeded suffering. Can be quite a bleak idea if it's not followed through, just hearing that there is no you, there is no me. The idea is it's not letting go of any of that stuff. You still keep all the things you love, but you let go of the control that you try and desperately to hold over them. In letting go of these aggregates and not carrying them as yourself anymore, then you can achieve a state of non-suffering and a talk of nirvana, of presence and control.
I don't believe in icons. I don't believe in personalities. I believe that peace lies beyond personality, beyond invention and disguise, beyond the red S that you wear on your chest that makes bullets bounce off. I believe that it's deeper than that.
Now, this state of heightened being, it's not really going to be something that many of us can achieve. And it might not even be something that you necessarily want to achieve. But knowing about it and knowing about the 5 aggregates can help us. Help us in the meditation that you do. You might be a casual meditator, but it can give your meditation more meaning. And when you are meditating, realizing that when these feelings or thoughts do come up, you can play with it. You can try more than before to be that observer, that watcher, in watching these things arise and deciding whether or not to act on them. Because that is what we're trying to achieve in this state of being that the Buddha or Buddhism was talking about in small form, but that is what they're talking about. That presence of that present feeling of non-suffering in things being delivered up to you and deciding whether or not to act on them. So here's to Jim Carrey. Maybe he has achieved that state of enlightenment or that state of not self. Or maybe he's just a really good actor, which he is. Could you help me? Subscribe to my channel. There's no one out here. Been out here for hours, doesn't seem to be anyone. If you could do that, it'd be crazy cool. Help me spread this message of mindful ability that we can have. Share this, and together we can start to implement some kind of change in people's lives. Peace.